Hey everyone, hey, this is Mr. C. How you doing? I've really missed you in class, and I hope you get a little enjoyment through this lesson about basic geometry, and we're going to focus on the Pythagorean Theorem. I really hope you have a lot of fun and enjoy the ride. Let's talk about the Pythagorean Theorem. And first, we're going to test your knowledge, a little bell work. On the PowerPoint, in the beginning of the PowerPoint, we have a little problem. See if you can pause this right here and solve that problem. After you figure it out, or you can't figure it out, that's okay. We're going to go through and show you how to do it later on through this lesson. But let's talk a little bit about the Pythagorean Theorem. What's it do, and why do we need to use it, and what's it for? Well, it's used within right triangles, and every right triangle, as you know, has 90 degrees. It has 3 sides, and it has a couple terms that come with it too. One of the terms is called a hypotenuse, and that's right here. This is your biggest side of your right triangle. As you can see, 3 different squares. And 3 different squares represent each side, and each side are a different length. And each side represents the formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that's the Pythagorean Theorem. And you can see every time you use it, it will show and come out right. And as you can see, which is really cool, that these 2 squares, a and b, will always equal out the amount of the square of the c squared. It will always come out of that, and that's how you always see through your formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Let's go and you ask, why do we need to use this, Mr. C? What's it going to have anything to do with my education outside here to be in a career? Well, I'll tell you. One is you can use it in engineering, you can use it in natural science, and also you can use it within GPS and navigation. Really cool, huh? Well, if you go in deeper thought for engineering, it's when you build cars, you build buildings. And also through building your technological devices, like your phones and your computer systems and your computers. My favorite one is the GPS. You can use it within your GPS on your phones and also within your cars. And most importantly, that's how navigators use it when they fly airplanes. That's how they get from point A to point B. Really cool. They've been using this a long time, guys. And that's what we're here to show you. And I have a lot of cool videos to see that, and a trendy song you might guys want to like to dance to. Let's go on a little deeper thought. So as we said, the Pythagorean Theorem is a squared plus b squared plus c squared. A and b can always be interchangeable in your triangle. It doesn't matter which one's A and which one's B. We just put A and B here, but it doesn't matter. This can go here and that can go here. It's always going to equal out to c squared. C is always going to be your hypotenuse, which is on this side. It's always going to be the longest length too. So if you see a triangle and you see the longest length, you already know that's going to be the hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse is always directly across, opposite of your 90-degree angle. That'll help you out too to figure that out. As you can see, the blocks right here that form around the triangle is just to give you some perspective of what they are. And these blocks, think of them as each block is connected to each side of the right triangle. And each block also relates to each length of the side. And as you see, each block is different which one it relates to each size of the block. Just think of these blocks are all filled up with water. These 2 blocks have enough water to fill this big one, which is pretty cool if you think about it. That's how a lot of back in the day, how pyramids were built, and other cool Roman buildings were built also, as you'll see in the video coming up. Okay guys, go ahead and pause this, and if you go through your PowerPoint, you can go ahead and watch our short video about the Pythagorean Theorem. It's really fun, it's really inventive, and it shows a lot of things that we just talked about. Okay guys, after the video, we're going to do some problems. And problems are through the first 3 problems through your PowerPoint. Now if you watch the PowerPoint first, that's okay because you can hear my voice through narration, and also you can see it through the closed caption reading it. And I try to show different ways to understand the Pythagorean Theorem, and if you guys have any questions, you can always ask. But here's the most important thing is we're going to walk through these problems together so you can really understand how the Pythagorean Theorem works, okay? So let's go to the first question. It says, on problem 1, it shows a triangle just like this. And it shows a 6 and an 8 and a C. Well, you already know your C is your hypotenuse, right? So you already know C is going to go right here. It's going right here. So that's what we have to figure out. And it already shows our A and B form, which is right there. So that means 6 squared, right here, plus 8 squared. All right, so if you guys don't know what square means, it's the number times itself. So it's going to be 6 times 6 and 8 times 8, which equals out to 36 and 64. And when you take both of those and you add them together, you're going to get what? That's right, 100. The Big Benjamin, right here, 100. Now, we're not done yet. We know that c squared, right here, is 100. Now we have to take the square root, which is the exact opposite. So what's times itself that equals 100? And if you figure it out, that's 10. 10 is your answer. 10 is C, okay? Now we're going to go through some different problems where they're going to give us the hypotenuse, but we have to figure out one of the legs. All right? So let's take this down. Let's start a little over and go into our next question. So our next question shows a little bit different, as I said. It shows the C, already shows C, and that what starts with what? 12, right? As you see in the PowerPoint. It gives a C, and then it gives our A and B. Remember, A and B can be interchangeable. It doesn't matter where they go. They can be placed either way. So let's go ahead and start it. So what? We know what? 12 squared, right here. And then also 8 squared. Now let's just put it B. That's pretty easy. So what is 8 squared? That's 64. And what is 12 squared? That is 144. Now you guys, if you have calculators, that's fine. You can go and Google and look up a calculator. If you don't have one on hand or on your phone, that's fine. I use a lot of my calculators for this either, especially when you do the square root of stuff. Sometimes, you're just thinking that's just, your mind starts really boggling. So don't make it too hard and stuff. Use the calculator. And you'll be allowed to use a calculator when you are test on this stuff anyways. So take advantage of that. Don't stress out too hard. So right now, you're just like, how do we figure out A squared? Well, we have to get A squared by itself, right? We have to take this and get it by itself. So that means we're going to take B squared, right here, 64, and subtract it. We're going to subtract it from the C squared. So we're going to move the 64, and we're going to put it right under here. And that's going to equal out 80. 80, right here, is going to be our answer. But we were saying, well, Mr. C, that can't be 80 right there. Of course not. Now we have to take the square root of it. And this square root is really weird, because the fact is it doesn't come out to an even number. It comes out to with a decimal. So it's going to be 8.9. So if you get a bunch of decimals, just round it up to the 10th decimal, and then do your best, because that's all I expect. You don't have to have a full round number. Sometimes it doesn't give you the most perfect number. All right, and as we know in math never gives us perfect numbers at times. So let's go on our third solved equation. And it's very similar to our last one. And it starts with a 13 on top of where our hypotenuse is. Now guys, when you think about this, this should be pretty easy because of what? We just learned it from the last one. So it just shows A, and it shows a leg, which could be our B, and our 13. So let's start. What is 5 squared? As our B. And then also, we have 13 squared. Now you plug those in the calculator, and I'm sure you guys can do what 5 times 5 is. It's 25. And then 13 times 13 is 169. So what are we going to do next? We got to get A by itself, right? We got to get A by itself. So we have to subtract B and C. So we're going to go back to our little minus section here, put it over here, subtract 25 off both sides, bring the 25 over, and what are we going to get? We're going to get a nice number. That's 144. 144, guys. That's what it's going to be. That's what's our answer going to be. But then we have to take the square root of it, right? We have to take the square root of 144. What's the square root of 144? I know you know it. It's 12. 12 is our answer. And 12 is right. Nice round number. That's pretty easy when it comes to that. We like round numbers. It's a lot easier. Now guys, that was just some simple equations when it comes to the Pythagorean theorem. They're going to be sometimes harder, and sometimes they're actually going to show you different forms, where they're actually just going to show you the degrees, where they might put 90 here, and then they'll put another one, and then they're trying to figure out what is the degrees. And you can still use the Pythagorean theorem in that place. But today we're just going to go to the basic. And the basic is we're trying to find A, B, and C. And that's it. That's what we want to figure out. Now guys, I know we haven't got to see face to face in a long time, and I really miss hearing your voices and hearing your thoughts about your days, and I can't wait to do that next year. And if you guys need any questions or message me on this or through any of your other courses, that would be awesome. And remember to do the worksheet that I have also posted. If you do that or make any comments about today's lesson, you do get extra credit, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you do message me, you look at the end of your PowerPoint, you have a ton of ways to message me. You can message me through Teams, you can email me, or even set up a phone call where I'll call you guys. You just got to email or message me what time you guys want me to call. Also, you can also instant message me through Teams and Remind. At the end of the PowerPoint, you also see some links. Those are all the links I use, videos, texts, anything that you want to get more into the Pythagorean theorem. And last but least, let's get out of our chairs and we have a really cool song that you can listen to. It's that Justin Bieber remix I told you about. I want you to have a lot of fun with it, and it's actually really trendy enough that you'll remember the Pythagorean theorem. I really hope you have a lot of fun, guys, and I really miss you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks, guys.